Hello everyone. I wish you a good day, a good afternoon, and a good evening. Welcome to the SpUN Virtual Debates 2020 scrimmage for today. Our host today is Bert Dick, who will be managing the technical aspects of a match. Our judges are Jim Plaxco and Vignesh Allah. Jim Plaxco is president of the Chicago Society for Space Studies and volunteers as the NASA JPL Solar System Ambassador. He is a former president of the Northern Illinois Space Advocacy, a former vice president and director of both National Space Society and the Planetary Studies Foundation. Vignesh Allah is the assistant director of debate at the University of Michigan and a PhD candidate in comparative public policy at Wayne State University. I am the timekeeper and facilitator for Room 2, and my name is Souvik Mukherjee. The winning team is chosen based on their skill and effort, not on any preset NSS position. NSS clearly believes that humanity should continue to explore, develop, and settle space. However, NSS also believes that honest debate will facilitate that goal. It is important that space advocates understand and be able to express the anti-space case. No statement by any debater or coach is an official position of NSS. Okay, let's meet our debaters. Team Super Heavy, please give your name, home country, and ethnicity, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Abhinaya. I'm from Hyderabad, India, and I'm an Indian.
Good morning, one and all. My name is Dishika, and I'm from Hyderabad, KPHP, and I'm an Indian.
Hello, my name is Vorkoman Andrei, and I'm from Romania. I'm a Romanian.
Hello, my name is Ryan Grizard. I'm from Florida in the United States, and I am a Vietnamese American.
Thank you, Team Super Heavy. Now, Team New Gle, please give us your name, home country, and ethnicity, please.
Hi everyone, I am Lucky Montala. I'm an Indian. I live in a state called Telangana and a city, Hyderabad. Thank you.
My name is Samar Al-Haushi. I'm in 8th grade. I live in Florida, and I'm of Egyptian American descent.
Hello, I'm Diana. I'm from Romania, and I'm Romanian.
Hello everyone, I am Radu. I am a Romanian living in Romania, and I will represent the first speaker of today's match. Thank you.
Thank you, Team New Gle. It's wonderful to meet you all. If anyone has a question, please raise your hand in your participants icon. Please mute your mic unless you are speaking, and only the presenting team and judges should turn on their videos unless directed by the moderator. Okay, here is the format for today's debate. Each member of Team Super Heavy will speak for 2 minutes, taking the affirmative position. I will let the speaker know when 2 minutes is reached. After the affirmative 8 minutes, Team New Gle, each speaking for 2 minutes, and will give the negative argument. After hearing their arguments, our host will open the breakout for 5-minute conversations for teams to prepare the summary and judges to confer. The breakouts will close and the affirmative side with only one person from Team Super Heavy now presenting their 3-minute summary. I'll indicate when a time limit has expired. Finally, one person from negative side, Team New Gle, will present their 3-minute summary, and I'll indicate the time limit if needed. If there is time, the judges may ask a question to the teams. The judges will use their breakout to discuss their findings and determine the match winner. After 5 minutes, judges will return to the common Zoom room to give the decision and feedback, should time allow. We have a hard debate session stop at 11:15 a.m. CDT for this room. All right, Mr. Dick, do we have only the judges and the affirmative teams with live videos and mics?
Affirmative.
Thank you. Let's get started. We'll hear from the first speaker from Team Super Heavy representing the affirmative position for Resolution A. Money spent on space exploration is not justified when there are so many problems here on Earth that we need to solve first. Team Super Heavy, your first speaker may begin now.
Respected jury, coaches, and my fellow mates, a very good morning, afternoon, evening to one and all present here. Our team will be telling you about economics management, Earth and weather behavior, Earth's development, and global poverty and hunger. A study by Statista.com shows that there are over 2,200 satellites orbiting Earth at the moment. According to NASA.gov, most of the satellites orbiting our planet are used for taking pictures of our planet and helping meteorologists predict weather and important phenomena like hurricanes. And another important purpose is represented by communication, TV signals, phone calls. There are also spy satellites which give information about different countries and their secrets. The same study indicates that most of the satellites are situated in the low Earth orbit, also known as LEO, only 1,200 miles away from Earth. Yes, these satellites have and still are helping us, but while we have been sending satellites since 1957, it doesn't look like space exploration. That's Earth exploration. According to ScienceMag.com, to launch a satellite and place it on Earth's orbit, the cost is between $10 and $400 million. So the total cost of sending the satellites on the low Earth orbit was between $22 and $880 trillion, excluding the spy satellites, about which we don't know much information. The study made by Voyager.nasa.gov shows Voyager 2 cost $895 million. This mission was done in 1972. The technology has improved since then, and the cost may be bigger as well on new space exploration missions. Spending so much money on this kind of mission is not justified, while it is not respectful for humanity's needs, in contradiction with universalization. With this money, we could help other important factors on Earth, such as global warming, global poverty, about which my colleagues will speak further. Something respectful called universalization. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker 1. May we hear from Speaker 2 now?
One position might state that studying the atmosphere of other planets could help us better understand the problems we face here on Earth. But according to ESA Science and Technology, Earth has an atmosphere that's quite different from any other planet in our solar system. So the storms that occur here on Earth will be very distinct. Universalization is something that tells us to respect and enhance the people and the environment around us. A study made by the University of Colorado and the Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University provided a market analysis on future ozone layer depletions, most probably due to the increase of space industry, particularly due to rocket launches. The annual rate of rocket launches are increasing after the beginning of the space age, rising up to 156 rocket launches in the year 1967, and are rising at an average rate of 8% every year. If left unregulated by the year 2050, rocket launches will damage the ozone layer more than anybody has ever expected. Global warming. This is another issue we face here on Earth. According to WHO, lack of funds is causing the cleanup of oceans and many such protection activities to stop. Global temperatures rising. This is causing the destruction of the environment around us. This is greatly affecting human health. A study made by the University of Texas showed that $225 billion are put into space exploration every year. This money could instead be used for protecting our environment, as climate protection is lacking more than $9.8 billion. So by this, we can understand that money spent on space is not justified, as we have many problems right here on Earth we could solve instead. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker 2. May we hear from Speaker 3 now?
Global poverty and hunger financial support. Global poverty is a serious issue that puts brakes in human development. It also challenges human dignity and world's peace. According to group discussion, money spent on space exploration can be better used in reducing poverty on Earth. This money can also be used to stop famine, droughts, shortage of food, and provide clean water. Poverty is a major issue. Investment in technology and humanity should be balanced to avoid stagnation of development. According to the World Economic Forum, technology always allows many things today that were unbelievable in the past. Now, poor people can self-diagnose their own level of poverty by using a smartphone or a tablet. A family in a poor slum or a rural village has the capacity to take stock of their own situation, which is very powerful. Human rights activist Robin Hanbury stated that money spent on space exploration has achieved extraordinarily little except for a bit of improved technology, which would probably have come about by means other than space development technologies. We are certainly facing serious issues regarding poverty on our very own planet. Universalization speaks to poverty having no place in human rights. Poverty exists because of inequality. We need to fight together to manage and mitigate poverty. Jeffrey Sachs is the leading strategist on the UN Millennium Development Goals, an ambitious initiative to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger on a global scale. Sachs feels that to meet the UN goals requires a global contribution of about $150 billion of development assistance per year, something we can achieve as citizens of the world, where the cost of an satellite can be a cost of up to $400 billion, as Andre said. So money spent on space exploration is not justified until we solve global warming and poverty in our own Earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker 3. Now it's time to hear from Speaker 4.
Finally, space exploration is unjustified because entrepreneurs who are ready with new tech advances need financial backing. Today, technological breakthroughs and inventions around the world are driving our world economically and technologically. However, many bright entrepreneurs creating the technology of the future are currently being held back. Money spent on space exploration is not justified when there are private enterprises here on Earth which need funds desperately to continue life-saving research and technology. According to a study done by Forbes.com, 90% of startup entrepreneurships and companies end up failing simply because of a lack of funding and support. Overall, we're pursuing an expensive and unjustified pipeline into space technology, and by doing this, we are ignoring the underfunded private entities and individuals with great prospects and technologies. Currently, companies are nearly impossible to start, no matter how good the invention is, simply because of the fact that tens of thousands of dollars in funding are required to even for a startup company. Unjustified space exploration is currently sucking funds and jobs out of entrepreneur programs and grant money, which could be used to invent and create cheaper technologies here on Earth. According to a study done by CBS on spacecraft alone for Apollo 11, it costed around $28 billion developing crafts and technologies to send astronauts to the moon. Along with that, 2.68 million patent applications are submitted each year, with only under half of them being accepted and less of them even being funded. We must redirect our attention back to our own planet's financial shortcomings and entrepreneurs before we throw money away exploring others. Also, technological development here on Earth not only promotes economic prosperity, but also helps us learn to work and live together, a prime product of universalization. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker 4. And I would like to confirm with Judge Vignesh. I saw you not there in the participants icon for some time.
Yeah, it seemed that I had disconnected for a brief moment there due to low connection, but I'm back in now. It should be fine.
Okay, so did you miss Speaker 4's argument, or would you like him to repeat?
Yes, I would like that if that's okay with him.
Okay, yeah. Speaker 4, will that be fine with you?
Oh, yes, that's okay. I can repeat it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Finally, space exploration is simply unjustified because entrepreneurs who are ready with new technological advances need financial backing here on Earth. Today, technological breakthroughs and inventions around the world are driving our world economically and technologically. However, many bright entrepreneurs creating the technology of the future are currently being held back. Money spent on space exploration simply isn't justified when there are private enterprises here on Earth with need funds desperately to continue life-saving research and technology. According to a study done by Forbes.com, over 90% of startup and entrepreneurships and businesses end up failing simply because of lack of funding and support. Overall, we are pursuing an expensive and unjustified pipeline into space technology. And by doing this, we are ignoring the underfunded private entities and individuals with great prospects and technologies. Currently, companies are nearly impossible to start, no matter how good the invention is, simply because of the fact that tens of thousands of dollars in funding are required for even a startup company. Unjustified space exploration is currently sucking funds and jobs out of entrepreneur programs and grant money, which could currently be used to invent and create cheaper technologies here on Earth. According to a study done by CBS on spacecraft alone for Apollo 11, it costed around $28 billion developing crafts and technology to send astronauts to the moon. Along with that, over 2.68 million patent applications are submitted each year, with only half of them being accepted and even less of them being funded. We must redirect our attention back to our own planet's financial shortcomings and entrepreneurs before we throw money away exploring others. Also, technological development here on Earth not only promotes economic prosperity, but also helps us learn to work and live together, a prime product of universalization. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Super Heavy. Now it's time for us to hear from Team New Glen representing the negative position. Do we have only the judges and the negative team with live videos and mics on? Okay, thank you. Now it's time to hear from Team New Glen. Speaker 1 from Team New Glen, your time starts now.
Hello everyone. Our team disagrees with today's resolution. Money spent on space exploration is not justified when there are so many problems here on Earth that we need to solve first. Because space exploration is a great way to broaden our horizons while we'll still focus on the immediate problems we have on Earth. Before we start our line of arguments, we have to define what justified really means. According to Cambridge English Dictionary, justified means having a good reason for something. So let's see our good reasons why space exploration is justified even if we have problems on Earth. At the moment, Earth is confronting a great lack of resources that will be visible even in the space industry, the only industry that can help us to solve this planet's problems. In this case, space will offer us a giant source of resources that can help every single human being to have a house, a car, resources for spacecraft, or water supplies for agriculture and production of food. So I just enumerate two main problems that can be solved with the help of space: homelessness and famine. Space exploration will enable us to locate new sources of much needed compounds outside of Earth, like copper, aluminium, iron, and so on. According to the National Space Society, the legal bottom line on mining non-terrestrial resources is that the United States, the Soviet Union, or any other nation that can get there can mine the moon and any other celestial body. It means that if you get there, you can get the resources. But what if all of us get there? If we go there together, everyone can get the resources. Cooperation will even help us in the economical domain. And with a small contribution, space exploration would become cheaper and more efficient. So if you work together, all humans would have access to the resources without conflicts about what rock is whose. If we do so, the resources can be split between the nations and used for helping the developing nations, and the developed nations would continue their scientific studies. So everyone will be able to develop and the much needed universalization will be finally achieved. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker 1. Now it's time to hear from Speaker 2.
It is critical that we negate this resolution not only for the betterment of technological advancement, but to utilize universalization efficiently and effectively. It is clear that space exploration was fully justified throughout the 20th century, and it is definitely economically and technologically justified today. Since the launch of the Apollo 11 mission, the United States has established itself as a force to be reckoned with in the field of space exploration. The International Space Station, the development of the Space Launch System, the reusable rocket. Each of these systems was either in part or entirely designed by the United States and has propelled us further and further into space. And the evolution and expansion of aerospace engineering continues to grow. But how can one truly tell if the United States can consistently follow through the success? Well, economically speaking, the rate of technological advancement globally could easily not only considering for universalization, but for a much easier and more efficient way to get into space now. According to NASA, across all nations, the space industry provides some of the most profitable growth of all other industries. As for every average $1 equivalent invested into these globally, an average of $8 is eventually made in profit through exports at that same year. The overall growth of the aerospace industry as a whole has been consistently increasing in the range of tens of dollars. And investing into space agencies and programs will lead to both technological advancement and economic profit for nations as a byproduct, which can then be appropriated to even solve problems that the aforementioned mentioned. The United States is simply one piece in the puzzle that is the global effort of space exploration, though. The exploration of space by the forces of Russia and China should be collaborative and not competitive. Currently, all the stated countries are diligently working for space and lunar exploration and have actually collaborated on many space-related projects. It would be smart to combine these large forces that have already had success in space to efficiently combine their efforts for reaching and colonizing space. Their combined efforts could more quickly yield technological advancements that could help developing countries, fostering universalization once again. According to a 2018 research study by Max Roser of the Our World in Data website, if the rate of technological advancement globally were to be graphed, taking into account the coefficient of both computer capacity advancement and advancement in engineering per dollar invested, the potential of technological advancement globally is clearly increasing as a global effort at an exponential rate. There should not be competition designed to weaken.
Thank you, Speaker 2, but your time is up now. Thank you. May we hear from Speaker 3 now?
Humans have three reactions to a threat: fight or flight. The United Nations declared that climate change is a defining issue of our time, and we're at a defining moment. What will we do? We will have to choose flight. In 2012, the World Wildlife Fund estimated that by 2030, we will need the equivalent of 2 planets in order to sustain our lifestyle, and the predictions for 2050 are unfavorable. Coastlines will be reshaped by rising sea levels. On the ground, rising temperatures will change the world. The Amazon rainforest will turn to savanna. Floods, heat waves, fires. The healthcare systems will struggle to cope. Hunger will rise. People will be forced to flee their home. The poorest will be worst affected. As the opposing team said, it is true that everything on Earth is influenced by humans, but in a world where 39% of the US population and 51% of Russians don't believe in the threat of climate change, and influential leaders like Donald Trump declare, "I don't believe it," the hope of saving Earth is fading. One of the affirmative arguments was that humans can become sustainable, but the Saudi Arabia solar project, meant to be the biggest in the world, was cancelled just 6 months after its announcement, and in 2019, the US began to leave the Paris Climate Agreement. The 1997 Kyoto Protocol also failed. David Greenspoon, an astrobiologist, declared, "As long as we are a single-planet species, we are vulnerable to extinction by a planet-wide catastrophe, natural or self-induced. Once we become a multi-planet species, our chances to live long and prosper will take a huge leap skyward. We will be left defenseless when the problems prevent human living on Earth. So now it is the time to research and prepare as much as possible for a life in space. Now it is the time to work together, to save ourselves, to achieve universalization. We must negate the resolution now, because money spent on space exploration is money spent on the survival of humanity." Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker 3. And at the last, may we hear from Speaker 4 now?
Finally, Earth's growing population required us to look for a place to live beyond our planet. According to worldometers.info, the current population of the world is nearly 7.8 billion, whereas our mother planet Earth can sustain only 10 million. Every year, the population is increasing by 83 million, and to reach its maximum sustainability, we're only left with 2.2 billion. According to United Nations Population Funds, proves that Earth may reach 10 billion by 2050. And this is the time exactly where world will run out of food. As human population continues to climb up, there will come a time when world will run out of food. According to World Health Organization, there won't be enough food to feed everyone. But now it's not evenly distributed. That may be true for now, but according to a study of General POLS1, there won't be enough food for everyone by 2050, no matter how we divvy it up. And also according to United Nations Food and Agriculture Association, estimates the world population will suppress by 10 billion by 2050. At which point agriculture system will not be able to supply food for everyone. We now understand how the life ends on Earth. Analyzing the future, scientists, astronomers state that there is need of settle in space, for which we need to colonize Moon and Mars. And this will possibly happen when we explore space. While we still strive to solve the problems here on Earth, we might be too late. And we need to leave Earth at any cost, at least for the future generation, because leaving Earth is the only option we have. And if we don't leave it, we have to face the end of the world. Let the space available beyond Earth be universalized, so the people of the future won't agonize. Thank you.
Thank you, Team New Glenn. We'll now ask Mr. Dick to open the breakouts for 5 minutes to prepare team summaries and judges to confer. Please join breakout rooms.
Okay, I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to open the rooms right now. Okay, it's just us left.
Yes. So how do you feel about the process till now?
Seems to be working smoothly this time.
Yes, absolutely.
Good session. They were very on topic. I was impressed.
Yeah. Yes. And you have been to, I think you were there in last year's ISTC conference too, witnessing SpUN debates.
Yeah, I was a judge last time.
Yes.
Last year, yes. So it's nice being in a much more neutral position.
So how do you think about the level from comparing from last year to this year?
Well, it's interesting because I was a judge last year. I had the judging form in front of me, so I was paying different attention to how they were presenting. This time I could just sit back and enjoy both sides and not have to worry about evaluating, are they on point or off point? Are they making their case? That type of thing. So it was a little more relaxing.
Yes, absolutely. You can just sit back and enjoy what the two teams have to offer us.
I mean, it's really been a really great process to see them making these cases. I know debating can be kind of scary at times.
Yes.
Because you are trying to make the case, but it seems like they were very teamwork wise. I thought they presented nice cases that flowed.
Yes, they had an amazing flow of speaking, and we actually have one of their coaches here. Tammy, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Tammy.
Okay.
Hi, Bert. Thank you so much for all of your help in making this happen. And
My
Suvek,
pleasure.
of course.
No problem. So how has your experience been with the teams? How is it interacting with them?
It's really been good, I think. I feel like they've grown a lot. It's hard to work as a team, and it's hard to work as a team in different time zones, in different countries, and different continents. And I've seen them be able to, I feel like they've grown in their debating skills and their research, but they've also grown in just how do I work on a team? And I found that really fulfilling. I think it's been fun to watch. So, but yeah, I've enjoyed working with them, and I'm like so nervous for them. So.
What's the most difficult aspect of working with them, do you think? I know you just mentioned different locations, different time zones, but was there any other aspect that you found challenging?
I think that there's a lot that goes on here, right? So you have to understand the content, but you also have to understand debate strategy. And so what happens is these kids love space. I mean, they love space, right? That's why they signed up to do this. And so they do their research, and they're going down rabbit holes that are really interesting about space, but they're not about the resolution. And so that was probably my biggest challenge, was getting them to stay focused on the resolution. So a lot of times I'd be giving them feedback. I'm like, this is really interesting, but how does it show that it's justified? Like, so I think that's really sort of, it's like that fine line. You don't want to suppress their awesome curiosity, but you got to keep them focused because they have an end product that needs to be a certain way.
Exactly. Looks like we got one more minute left, so I'll be ready to close the rooms. So
absolutely.
All right.
But
well,
no,
thanks for letting me watch.
Process. I'd like to be a coach.
No problem.
I'd like to be a coach sometime, maybe. Let's try that aspect.
Next year.
Yeah, you should do it. You should totally do it. It's really rewarding. I mean, these students are really fun to talk to, and they're just interesting people. So.
Very good. So I just closed the room, so it gives them 1 minute. So we should be back in about a little less than a minute.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So the next phase is their closing statements. Is that what happens next? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
There we go. I think
everybody's coming back.
Everyone's starting to come back in. Yep. Yep, there's my timer.
So So we have only Rishika right now. I think soon they all will be discussing.
The rooms will officially close in 13 seconds. So they.
Okay. So they'll be forced to come back.
They're forced to come out then. Yes.
Well, 5 minutes is not a lot of time for them to discuss. So, there must be a lot of pressure on the students.
There they come. There they are.
Yay.
Actually,
back.
they're having some problems.
Some problems?
No, nothing.
Thank you, Rishika.
Hey, Bert, before at the end, before we go to our rooms for judging, is it possible to ask for a few extra minutes of time?
Sure.
So,
I'll defer to our facilitator to.
Sure, depending on our overall schedule, because we'd like to have more. We did not get through all the points we needed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, sure, absolutely. If we have some time, we can definitely extend the 5 minutes breakout. Okay, so without wasting any more time, welcome back, everybody. So do we have only the speaking team and the judges' camera and mics on? Okay, great. Team Super Heavy, representing the affirmative position, please give us your 3-minute summary. You may begin now.
Our team brought up the arguments about economics management, Earth and weather behavior, global poverty, hunger, and Earth's entrepreneurial development and emerging industries. Money spent on space exploration is not justified while there are so many problems on Earth we need to solve first. The cost of these missions would be enormous, and with the money used on them, we could help Earth. My colleagues have already listed some ways to spend the money more efficiently. Global protection is lacking funds, while global warming and climate change is, and will have place. Also, technological development on Earth promotes not only economic prosperity, but also helps us to work and live together better. Investment in technology and humanity should be balanced to avoid stagnation of our development. Global poverty and hunger are real subjects which should interest us more. All these ideas are not only respectful for the environment, but also for humanity, something called universalization. A speaker once said, we have to do both, but money is not justified, means not one single dollar should be spent on space exploration, as the resolution says. That tells us he has some confusion with the resolution, and I don't want to be rude. The second speaker talks about how aerospace and industries are very profitable. However, aerospace industries are not necessarily space exploration. They're Earth exploration, as I said in my first argument. Speaker 3 said 2 planets will be critical to sustain life in 2030. Speaker 4 said the population of the Earth is 7.8 billion people on Earth, and the population is still increasing. Speaker 3 said we should save ourselves. Can we save the whole population until 2030? According to NASA, 10 to 15 people can be taken into space with a single launch. How much time will it take to get all these people in space and save ourselves if the population is already increasing, as Speaker 1 said? Also, currently, we are not even close to colonizing other planets, so life in space is expensive and impractical. Space exploration also doesn't help prevent or stop climate change. The only way to make changes in our planet's ecosystem is to stop things such as deforestation, the burning of fossil fuels. We are also still years from being able to sustain life on other planets, not to manage the extreme cost of space exploration. It is honestly a bad investment to solve our environmental problems here on Earth first. And I'm going to ask you a question. How can we explore space if our planet is dying? How are we supposed to launch rockets from a damaged and harmed planet? Thank you.
Thank you, Team Super Heavy. Now, can we hear from Team New Gle, their 3-minute summary, please?
1 second, yes. Okay.
Absolutely. Team New Gle, are you ready?
1 second, please. I just got some noise.
Please, sure.
Okay.
Okay, so your time starts now.
Okay. I just want to say that space exploration is our only hope to survive for mankind. And I completely agree on the affirmative side. They said that the poverty is a major issue, that climatic changes are real critical, and they even said that how are we going to do space exploration when our planet is dying? Exactly. Our planet is dying, and according to worldmeters.info, we just got 30 years from now to reach Earth's maximum sustainability, that is 10 billion. And the food is going to be the last on that year. And I can say that we need space exploration to go to space. And we need space exploration to go to space and to colonize it. And they even said that like we are not even close enough to colonize a planet like Moon or a satellite, natural satellite like a planet like Mars and a natural satellite like Moon. But you know, like going to Moon is like a hobby for us right now, and we can easily go out there because we are exploring Moon since 48 years, and NASA has also declared that we are going to keep a lunar base over there. And we have 30 years, and SpaceX director Elon Musk told that he's going to make a lunar base 26 years, Martian base 26 years from now. And I'd like to revert the first speaker. He told the technology is improving in space, but money is not justified, and we're keeping so much money in space exploration. Yes, but according to like NASA's annual expenditure is 22.6 billion. But according to nationalpriorities.org, the US budget annually is 3.8 trillion. You can compare the both cost and the money, and we can use the money like it's not even like a 10%. NASA's expenditure is not even like 10%, and this money can be used to solve poverty and all stuff where we need to develop our Earth. And secondly, rocket launches may deplete the ozone layer, but according to UCSUSA.org, they said the depletion of ozone layer is mostly done by fossil fuels and CFC, which is chlorofluorocarbon, and space exploration is least in depleting the ozone layer. And right now, due to coronavirus, like this lockdown in the own international, and that holds were reformed again. And the third speaker told that poverty is a major issue. Due to this, we need to solve problems here on Earth. And as I said, that we just have 30 years, and we need to make this real quick. And finally, I can say that like Earth is our mother planet, and leaving Earth is the only choice that we are left of. And we need to leave Earth at any cost. And space exploration is our only hope. Thank you.
Thank you, Team New Glenn. Can I have all the participants' cameras on, please? Thank you. If the judges would like to ask any questions to any teams now.
I'm fine, thank you.
Thank you, Judge Jim.
I just have one, hopefully just a clarification. Can I ask what you said the budget for NASA was? I heard 22.6 million.
I just said 22.6 billion. I guess like.
Was it 26 billion or million?
It's billion, according to NASA. So.
Like billion with a B?
Yeah, billion.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That was all.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. So now, okay, so now the judges will go to their breakout room to discuss their findings.
How much time did you want, Jim? Oh, looks like you're on mute.
So, as much as you can give us.
Ganesh, what do you think?
It's 41 here for me now. Would going to is 50? Do you think it's enough? 9 minutes or a little bit more?
Because I think we have a hard cutoff at 1:15 so we got time. So 9 minutes, okay? Does that sound reasonable?
I think that's more. It should be more than enough. Thank you, Bert.
Okay, we'll do it for 9 minutes starting now. I'm going to move you into the breakout. I'm going to move you into your breakout room.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, so Very anxious 9 minutes of your life, I guess.
How do you
Everyone's
guys
excited.
feel? You feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are we not supposed to get breakout rooms right now for us? Because I hope.
No,
No?
not right now. Only for the judges at this point.
Only for the judges, yes. Your job is done now.
Okay, thank you.
I think it's more interesting to record our faces right now instead of just sending us to breakout rooms.
Yeah, so you can discuss it.
So what was your, anyone want to share, what was your best learning experience from doing this?
Yeah, actually, I love space, and my dream is to become an astronaut. And universalization is all about taking humans to space and live there, and going and living there is one of my greatest dreams that I ever imagined. So this is helping me to possibly think, how can we go settle in space? So thank you, NSS, I say.
Well, you have an advantage over me. I mean, I grew up with Apollo, and I too wanted to be an astronaut, and they're pretty amazing individuals. So the good thing about what's happening in space now, as you've described, there are going to be a lot more opportunities to go into space without becoming a professional astronaut. If you saw the 12 astronauts that were selected by NASA 2 years ago, 18,000 people applied. So yes, but you might be working as an engineer for a company that's doing material research, and they might say, hey, we're gonna buy a spot for you on the Crew Dragon and send you to space to do research. So you're gonna have a lot more opportunities to do that. Yep. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Other future astronauts here?
Well, I'm personally a major fan of the engineering aspect of it. For my school, I'm just a big fan of aerospace engineering, and learning about universalization once again, as Lucky stated, and just about the future of space exploration and how we have to evolve our engineering, and how we talked about the construction of rockets, just that aspect of it, and that we need so much just power in that aspect to be able to facilitate us going to space. I learned a lot about the engineering requirements for it and what you truly need to develop the ability to go to space.
Very good.
You should actually be a fan of Bert. Bert is really good at engineering aspect on aviation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Bert's having a lot of Facebook.
So I'm a mechanical engineer by training, so I interned at the Kennedy Space Center when I was in college, and that was really exciting. And when they wanted me to come back, and I thought, wow, I'm going to be working for NASA. But unfortunately, when I graduated, there was what they call a federal job freeze. So I went to work instead and designed fighter planes. So this is the YF-23 Advanced Tactical Fighter that I worked for at Northrop. And it was one of the most fun projects you could ever work on. But unfortunately, we didn't win the competition. Lockheed won the competition. So my airplane, if you want to visit, if you want to see it, it's at the Air Force Museum in Dayton and the Western Museum of Flight in Torrance, California. But still, it's my pride and joy. But it didn't go to space, though.
That's really impressive. It's awesome.
Okay, so anyone of you want to share your thoughts on universalization and how this debate has helped you achieve it?
Well, personally for me, it's not only just been this one resolution, but even the other resolutions that we've researched, and specifically even this one as well. I've just learned a lot about not only the concept of what universalization is, but what it takes to get to it. And I knew generally what universalization was. I knew generally what the goal of universalization was, but I had this, resolution researching on it gave me a lot more information on the qualifications to get to universalization and what steps we have to go through, and in weighing certain, even in this case, weighing arguments on promoting or not promoting universalization. I learned a lot about just how much it takes and how much mind power it can take to fully achieve universalization. while optimizing everything here on Earth. And I just learned a lot from it.
Thank you, Samir. That means a lot. Anybody else would like to share the experience?
Before I came to this program, I never knew there was a word, universalization. I never knew. When I first was introduced to it, I felt it interesting. After I learned more about universalization, it showed me a new point of view. I started seeing the world in a different way. I just feel different.
That's amazing. Thank you. Anybody from Romania? How do you feel meeting Americans and Indians on a virtual platform?
Well, I wanted to say that most probably we can even say that we somehow achieved universalization right now. Because even if we look just at this call, we have 4 Americans, 4 Indians, and 3 Romanians. No, 5 Americans, sorry. So somehow this can even be called universalization, because in most cases you cannot keep these many people of these many nationalities together to have a talk. So I think that it was a very interesting experience.
Thank you, Radu. It was wonderful. Yes, Lucky, you were saying something.
Okay, yeah, I was saying that I completely agree to him, because I've been coming to ISGC since 2016. I guess, yes, since 2016, and it's a great international platform. I could go there, have fun, and as well as learn stuff on space, which I really love. So.
Yes, ISGC is full of opportunities. We had Jeff Bezos come last year. It was an amazing experience. You know, we had multiple entrepreneurs. Even Elon Musk had come in, I think, in 2014 conference. And so, you know, it's a great experience. You can meet with a lot of amazing scientists, astronauts, and learn from them. And you know what's the best part? They're so humble that you can just go and approach to them and ask them, hi, I would like to talk to you. And you would just feel like, you know, they wouldn't treat you like as if you're a stranger or someone. They would treat you like, oh yeah, I know this person from a long time. So that's the beauty of ISGC. And we should really be thankful for NSS for conducting that.
And
so
we can do it again next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so I think we have last 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, it's 1 more minute. I'm going to start closing the room, and we'll bring them back. Here we go. So everyone, I just want to say you did a great job. So congratulations to all of you.
Kudos to everyone.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Should be back in any minute now. Any closing thoughts?
I mean, just thank you. I learned. I just want to thank you all for allowing us to debate here today. And I learned a lot, and I had a lot of fun developing the arguments with my teammates. And it was a really, even though we're, you know, put into the constraints of Zoom, and it's a, you know, dealing with it is a little bit of a struggle in some scenarios. Just thank you for being able to host this debate, and it went well, very well for me.
It did. We're all adapting right now. You guys did a great job. Looks like they should be back in 4 seconds. There we go. There's the timer.
Really? That was 9 minutes?
Hey, that was 9 minutes.
Oh my goodness. I should have asked for 19. We were having a grand old time.
And I'm sure you got to the judging aspect at some point, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Can you open up those rooms again so we can go back and do that?
Thank you, judges. And now, so I think it's time for what we are anxiously anticipating, the results.
Ah. Now, did you want us to give the results, or per the rubric, did you want us to speak about the commendable aspects, the weaknesses, and the effectiveness first?
The feedback would be lovely, please.
Okay. Munish, would you like to lead off with providing feedback?
Sure. So in terms of delivery, I think everyone did a good job speaking. you know, I know that I cut out for that small section, but from what I heard from everybody, everyone's like, you know, giving good points. Their speeches are organized. You know, I would say that it would be even be okay if you slowed down a little bit, just to make some more emphasis on a certain points. So that just for delivery, you know, I hope everyone knows that they're doing a good job with that. In terms of the argumentation, I think that both teams did a good job. I want to say that I especially liked in the final affirmative speaker's speech when they addressed the points individually by saying this speaker did this speaker did this. It shows that you're having an engagement between the two teams. That's a really core part of a debate format. So I appreciated that. I also think that in terms of the citation of sources, you know, I'm not looking at all the sources that you're saying, but I think you all did a good job saying, you know, according to this source and this qualification, we're getting these points. And that's another important part of debate. You know, I'm not looking at your evidence, but getting, you know, to hear that you're doing the research and you have a good foundation of where you're pulling your information from. That's another solid part of debating.
Thank you, Judge Vignesh.
And ditto from me on that. I think maybe the only other comment I would have about the debating is to perhaps pull a little bit further back from your screen so that you're, and be more up in the field and engage your hands so you can, people can see some body language going on there. So that I think can help. And so that's, you know, a statement more broadly for everyone for any future debates you may be in, because I'm one of these people where my cameras, I tend to get, let's say, overly close. So it can be helpful to take a step back from your camera so that people can get a better feel for the body language you're using as you're speaking.
I'm sure both teams want to hear what we think of the overall decision, and I can describe that now. I think the debate was really close. I looked at all my notes for both teams. I took notes on everyone's speeches, and I saw a lot of good arguments from both sides. I'll point out strong arguments from both now. From the affirmative team, I think one of the strongest arguments was just that it would be very difficult to effectively explore space without first prioritizing the Earth management. Maybe that could have been slightly better explained, you know, but overall the point that space exploration won't go as planned if we're not taking care of the Earth. I think that was a really strong point because that talks about simultaneously the importance of taking care of the Earth, but also how it can impact future space travel. So that's a very strong argument. On the negative team, it's a similar argument, but in reverse, by saying if we don't explore space, then it would, you know, potentially harm Earth, you know, the safety of the Earth, and maybe even like investing in space can give us more money to invest in the Earth. However, I think the affirmative team talking about how it would be harder to go to space and also all the things that currently exist now in the Earth, one of the strongest arguments that I don't think that was responded to really effectively was just the rate at which we can leave Earth is not currently at a sufficient standard. You know, so the argument in the last speech that we can only send 10 to 15 or even a slightly higher number than that, it's not an efficient way for us to say that we can completely locate to another planet and then, you know, resolve the issues on Earth. Meaning that as a judge, I'm looking at, you know, the scale at which we need to focus on taking care of the Earth must take priority over the scale at which we need to focus on leaving the Earth, just because the speed at which we can do that for one of them is much lower than the speed at which we can take care of the Earth. So for that reason, the affirmative one in terms of this debate.
Congratulations.
Yes, we were both in agreement on pretty much all of the major points that we were asked to pass judgment on. And it really, you know, in terms of a debate, it's about the effectiveness of the arguments that are actually presented and the effectiveness of the rebuttals against those specific arguments. And so obviously from my own personal, you know, biases, I have strong feelings one way or the other on this, but you have to go with the case as presented. So, but I do want to congratulate both teams,
Yes.
you know, on your research and the thought that you put into constructing the case that you've each made.
Thank you, judges. Congratulations to both the teams. Can we have everybody on unmute and have a big round of applause for everyone? Thank you everyone for making this possible. And now for, I think, Team Super Heavy will go to room 9 for the second round. Please check it in the bracket sheet and in the links. And Team New Glen will go to room 6 tomorrow, May 30th, 8 a.m. CDT. So all the best to both the teams and thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed the remainder of your morning, your afternoon, and your evening. Thank you for participating in the May tournament of the SpUN Virtual Debates 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
all.
everyone.
Great job again. Congratulations.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.